quick little background on myself, and I guess kind of what brought me into the role that I am now with A2Z Safety. I attended Sask Polytech in Prince Albert for the Integrated Resource Management program back in the early 90s, and I graduated as a conservation officer and a wildlife biologist. I'm also currently a first responder as well as a national construction safety officer. So I worked in the north for a number of years, over 30 years. I've been working in the north as a hunting and fishing guide in the summertime, and then of course working on the rigs and or running the safety company the rest of the year. So I also completed an entrepreneurship course at Sask Polytech, and what I'd like to always say is, never stop learning. It's very important to continue to constantly learn throughout your life. It just adds more knowledge to yourself and helps you be able to reach and strive towards your goals. So a couple of quick notes I just want to touch base on more than anything else. Most of the other presenters here today, from what I watched this morning, have opportunities for employment, whereas my company provides much of the training and services and drug and alcohol testing that most people were required to be able to be considered for this employment. So a little bit more of a background on myself. I was born in Yellowknife in the Northwest Territories. And I've spent, like I say, most of my life in the northern Saskatchewan or northern Canada, quite a few 25 years on Wollaston Lake and various other lakes throughout northern Saskatchewan, Bravant. I've taught in a lot of the communities throughout the north over the years too as well, from teaching for Northlands College for fishing hunting guide courses to from everything else under the sun, H2S Alive, Combined Space Entry, Fall Protection, to Wilderness Survival, Wilderness First Aid, and various other courses like that. I have a PowerPoint today that I'd like to share with everybody, and just a little kind of a brief of my company and some ideas, suggestions, and things that I feel are relevant in today's workforce and moving on to further employment. So I'm hoping my PowerPoint's going to work. It's always a struggle with technical advancements all the time. So A2Z Safety and Training, that's my company. And I named it that because I wanted to, I guess, cover courses from A to Z. So that's why I named it in that way. And I thought it would be a good relevant name. And so safety training and a whole lot more. Okay, so A to Z Safety and Training. My mission statement for my company is to provide practical, focused, and relevant training programs and services that increase knowledge, awareness, and safety. Okay, it's very important that we continue to grow our knowledge, but also our awareness of what of our surroundings and the safety that is required to keep ourselves and also our family safe and our coworkers, right? So the importance of setting goals to work towards. Always keep this in mind. I think it's very relevant that people set goals and work towards them because it keeps us moving in a forward direction. Short-term goals, would be defined as today or this week, taking this specific course or gaining some knowledge. Midterm, weeks or months. So gaining work experience or volunteering experience. If you don't have work in place, it's going to help you move forward towards where you want to go. And then long-term experience and long-term goals of, could take years. Basically, what do you want to do when you grow up? Or what's that? I can't believe they pay me to do this job. And for me, that's what guiding was, is that I just can't believe that I'm able to go and spend the day on the lake and have all this fun and catch fish and do all these things with the clients. And then and at the end of the day, they still pay me. And then a lot of times they give me a tip. It's like, so that's what you always want to look towards is what is the ultimate job for you? What do you really want to excel at and spend time doing? Because of course, I think it's very important to enjoy what you're going to do, right? So the path is never straight to get there, though. In these goals, always remember there's ups and downs. It never goes in a straight line. It goes sideways, crooked, all that. But as long as you still keep your end goal or end, your end want in sight and continue to persevere, you're going to achieve that. You will. It'll take time. Sometimes some people get there faster than others, but over time you'll get there. Okay, and it's a very important part of entering the workforce and looking for a career. So A to Z Safety and Training, we offer daily classroom courses and services at our training center in Prince Albert. We're downtown PA, as well as on-site training, drug and alcohol testing, and safety services throughout Saskatchewan. Some days I may have a dozen instructors throughout the province, depending on what's going on and where we're at. I incorporated the company in 2008. That's when I started. And over the last 13 years, we have built many great relationships and have gained much knowledge on how to direct or assist students with getting sponsorship or obtaining training and funding to be able to take training courses and secure employment. So it's one of the things I really value to I guess, be able to share with people and help them from all my experience, that they can gain some knowledge and be able to, I guess, make it a little bit easier for your guys' path towards your careers. Industries that we provide services to include, of course, tourism is a big one, because that's been a lot of my background, and oil field, because I spent some time on there, mining and exploration, construction, forestry, manufacturing, right? There's many different industries, and my suggestion is gain some experience in whichever ones interest you. Is that the one? If not, move on and try something else. But something to keep in mind is nobody can take away experience. Things expire, tickets expire, all that stuff, but nobody can take away experience, right? And knowledge. So other industries that we also provide services would be to agriculture, transportation, power generation, healthcare, right? And some of the courses that we provide for them, under the tourism and land-based education, of course, the first aid and CPR, wilderness first aid and survival, which is important for a lot of people who are out on the land or away from, the mainstream, away from potential medical help. Service Best and Serve It Right, which are SAS Tourism Education Council courses. Basically, they help us with Service Best. It's a frontline course. It helps us to learn how to deal with people, how to understand, how to communicate with people better. And then Serve It Right is for serving of alcohol. Safe food handling is another important course, especially if you're handling food at all. How to be able to safely do it, and how to prepare it, how to store it, things like that. Boating safety, and that's a big one, especially in the north, because a lot of people between boats and ATVs, a lot of times that's the main source of transportation I've found over the years. Remote road safety. We've done that course a number of times over the years, especially in the far north, and various aspects of industries, forestry, logging, where people are running, logging or oil field roads where they're not great roads or backcountry roads. So we teach them about 4x4ing, and I guess how to drive safely, what to look for, how to be able to always be looking ahead and be prepared for incidents that may happen. Some of the other courses we offer under tourism and land-based education include our freshwater fishing guide training, hunting guide training, hunter safety, PAL. So PAL is possession acquisition license, and it's for firearms, right? And then our PAL is a restricted possession acquisition license. You need to have a PAL or an RPAL to be able to buy ammunition, to be able to purchase a gun, to be able to be in, to have a gun, and to be able to be in possession of it. And then your hunter safety, depending on what it is, for a trapping certification, you have to have a hunter safety course, okay? So Saskatchewan Trapper certification is also another course we offer, non-traditional forest products, and then balance, which is my A to Z version of a life skills employment readiness course. I wanted something that was applicable, and I developed it specifically for a lot of the clients that I deal with. And balance is an acronym that stands for Bridging Aboriginal Lifestyles and New Career Experiences. It's just it's a little bit of employment readiness, life skills, a little bit of tough love. So sometimes people need to say, hey, you know what? Sometimes you got to look within, or look at it in a different manner, right? You always want to look from outside the box too, be able to determine and look at it from many points of view, okay? Other courses under the tourism and land base include our GPS, or global positioning systems, predator defense too as well in some areas, especially up with exploration, where you need a little bit more knowledge than just bear and wildlife awareness. You might actually have to be the one who comes in contact with the bear, and it could be an aggressive bear. So predator defense is one. Trailering safety, because a lot of people up there will be hauling trailers and throughout the province, as well as, another one, ice auger safety and operation. And that's one that we've done a number of times over the years, depending on the crew and what they're doing and specifics. Excuse me. A lot of training courses are relevant because basically what they do is they minimize risk for the employer, and they also help the individual or the worker to be able to minimize their own risk, right? And for the employer, that's part of their occupational health and safety obligations that they have to do, right? So as an employer, they have to make sure that we know what we need to do to keep ourselves safe. Whereas us as an employee, we have to, of course, protect ourselves, protect our co-workers, and cooperate with the employer to keep everybody on the job safe. So moving on, some of the other courses that we provide in oil field, mining, exploration, construction, power generation, forestry work. Your first aid CPR is a typical one in most industries, but then you get into more specific fall protection, confined space entry, even confined space entry and rescue. H2S Alive for sour gas if you're in the oil and gas industry, fire extinguisher, WMIS, transportation of dangerous goods, ground disturbance, chainsaw and brush saw. And that's a big one that we provide a lot of all over the province, especially the chainsaw and brush saw, because of course that's a big requirement. And it's hazardous work, right? And if it's hazardous work, you need to know how to be able to properly do it and safely. Some of the other courses included in there include flag person training, security guard, and bear and wildlife awareness, like I talked about. We also get into powered mobile equipment training, so forklift, skid steer, telehandler, aerial work platform, and scissor lift, right? Basically anything that's powered that it could be a potential danger or hazard, you have to have proper training on how to be able to do it, okay? And do it safely. And then there's a minimum requirement of 16 hours before they consider you to be a competent operator. So typically that's the time frame that we shoot for, is a 16-hour training course. We also get into the snowmobile, ATV or quad training, side-by-side or UTV training, Argo training, that's safe food handling once again, and hoisting and rigging training. Okay. So there's many different industries, and some industries only require minimal courses, but also other industries maybe require a very specific group of courses. And a lot of it boils back to the more dangerous the industry is, the more courses or the more training you're going to need to have to make sure that you're competent. Okay. Some new courses that we've been providing over the last while that are currently in progress, powered mobile equipment, heavy equipment training for wheeled loaders and some of the bigger stuff. And then sawmill and log cabin building training. We're actually on our second one right now, and it's been a quite interesting program. Basically, we teach the students how to use a sawmill, and then we cut the lumber and the logs, and then build a cabin with it. Okay, so it's been a lot of fun, and it's a very interesting one. And if anybody gets an opportunity wherever you're at, whether it's a community or wherever you're at, try and get into one of them. It's very interesting, but also teaches you skills that you'll be able to use. Those are life skills that you'll be able to use. You can always build yourself a house if you need to, right? Okay, so other courses that we offer, some computer-based courses and online courses. CSTS 2020, everybody hears of that one. That's the Alberta-based one. CSO, Common Safety Orientation, that's more oil and gas. Pipeline construction safety training, electrical safety training systems, and then the PDIC, which is professional driver improvement. Okay, we also offer over 200 other online courses on our website. And something to remember, certificates always, yes, they expire. Most certificates expire after 3 or 5 years, depending on what kind of certificate it is and who the provider was or the certifying body was that put it on. But knowledge never expires unless you let it. So, the more information and knowledge you can gain over the years, the safer it's going to make you, but also too, the better opportunities you may have towards moving towards a career or job that you're looking for, right? Because all those things go on a resume.
They sure
Other services
do.
available through A2Z Safety and Training include certified drug and alcohol testing, and we're an accredited facility by DATAC, the Drug and Alcohol Testing Association of Canada. We also provide mask fit testing, which has been pretty darn busy with all this COVID going on over the last year and a half. Medical standby, so basically first responders and EMTs or EMR standing by. Safety officers, whether they're on site to come in and do consultation or do surprise inspections, or actually, running safety meetings at that specific job site or whatever is required by the client.
Trevor, it's Kara here. I'm really sorry. We're at 12:46, so we have to cut you a little bit short here. We're going to have to move on because we'll wreck our schedule. So I really am grateful that you've come and participated with us. We look forward to you participating again. If anybody that's watching has any questions for Trevor, please direct message him or put it in the chat for everybody to see. And Trevor, you've participated with us many times before, and we hope to see you many times again in the future. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you for the opportunity.
Okay, with that, there we've got the contact information for A2Z Safety. That's terrific. Thank you, Trevor. And let's put that into the chat. Trevor, can you put your website and your contact info into the chat? Would be great.
Certainly. Now,